So in the landscape of anime, there's really three standouts to me that are just my favorites. First, Space Battleship Yamato, better known to some fans in the United States as Star Blazers. Just loved it. Just thought it was a weird concept, but a great idea and just incredible story. Next would be the original Vampire Hunter D. I don't generally like things vampires, but that one really won me over, and it is just such a good story. Finally, the Space Bounty Hunter's Tales of Cowboy Bebop. Just an amazingly fun show that worked so many levels. The live action attempt didn't fly with me. And I've always said, that first episode, there was a minor change in that episode from what happens in the cartoon, and it told a different story. And if you've watched both, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't watched both, just compare those two. Just compare those two stories. And it's the minorest of changes. It has to do with the escape. And you see what I'm talking about. That completely changes the tone. I saw this figure at my local Walmart and I was really shocked. I was like, I'd never seen anything about this figure. And I passed on it the first time I saw it. And then I got home and I said, I wonder about that figure. I looked around everywhere. I couldn't find a word on this figure. So then I just went back to the Walmart. A couple weeks later, it was still there. Grabbed it and took it home. And then I found out why maybe I haven't heard anything about this figure. Now, a lot of people say Loyal Subjects has some weaknesses, and I think they do. But let me get down to this. He's got a gun. He's got a swappable head. He's got accessories. Yay. But somehow this figure just does not capture Spike Spiegel the way I think it should. It's not speaking as a figure of that anime. It's speaking as a figure. It's just a figure. And as such, I think it's kind of weak. Now, the articulation isn't terrible. It's not great, but it's not terrible. He's not very stable, though, and he's hard to get standing up. And that's a real weakness when you don't have peg holes for a stand. So there isn't very many poses you can get him into. Now, the other downside is you don't have Jet and all the rest of the Cowboy Bebop gang. I really want an Einie, But, I mean, he would be okay on his own. I've looked and looked for figures from Cowboy Bebop, and yeah, the most of the offerings are very disappointing and very expensive usually. This one was at least affordable, but it's still disappointing. It just does not speak to the Spike Spiegel that we saw in that anime so long ago. And even to this day, that anime holds up so well. It's just so cool and so different. So sadly on this one, I mean, I'm going to have to give it a low score. I mean, the long and the short of it is, I mean, the articulation's a little weak because it doesn't let you even do 90 degrees at the shoulders. Uh, there's no real swivel in the arm or in the leg. There's a tiny bit of swivel in the leg, excuse me. But it doesn't want to work right. I've seen people talk a lot of crap about Loyal Subjects, and this kind of shows me where those cracks are. The turtles look good. Shredder was okay, but this one isn't doing it for me. And now I think I'm seeing what some people tried to say in other places, but then again, I could be wrong. Maybe this was just one they didn't really think through. I mean, when you got to the point you can't hold the gun straight out, which is one of Spike's most famous poses. I mean, yeah, there's a problem there. Okay, so for rating, I will give it 2 stars. It's Spike Spiegel. Yeah, it is. It's Spike Spiegel, but it just doesn't ring true to the action figure I was hoping it would be. And the end result seems to be a mess. It probably would look better as a slightly posable statue than an action figure. And I guess I'm just going to have to live with that. So, alright, that's going to wrap it up for Infinite Realms. Don't forget to like and subscribe.